Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to do division without a calculator. It's pretty straightforward. It's a little bit intimidating at first, but with practice it becomes pretty much like you do it from the back of your hand. It's pretty simple. Now let's start with uh, decimals. Decimals. Let's start with whole numbers that fit in perfectly. So 2, how many times can 2 go into 16? 8. That's your answer. How many times can 3 go into 9? 3. Pretty straightforward. We like these. It's very it's just whole numbers going into whole numbers. But as we all know, that's not always the case with division. Let's try a very different one. Instead of 16, let's try 17. So 2 can't go into 1, so it has to go into 16. Go into 17, sorry. So we do 8. If we did 9 here, it would not be possible because 9 times 2 would be 18. It's bigger than 17. So the minimal number here, or the one closest to it and below it, is 16. We subtract that, and this is accurate. This is a remainder. So 2 times 8, it would be 8 with a remainder of 1. Now, we want the calculator answer. The calculator answer will give us a decimal, and that's what we're going to be aiming for. So the steps that we have to do is, we got to add a decimal in the dividend next to 17, add a decimal to 8, and it's lined up perfectly. We add a 0 to 17, and we're going to drop it down. And after that, we drop it down, and we ask how many times can 2 go into 10? And that'll be 5. And we have a calculator right here. 17 divided by 2. That should give us 8.5. That's the answer. Okay. Let's do another one. Let's do 4 into 29. So 4 going into 29, how many times can it go? So 8 times 4 is 32. It really helps to know your multiplication because you can do the numbers really quickly in your head to know how many times it can go into it. So you can start solving right away. So 7, 14, 21, 28. And that'll give you a remainder of 1. We want the decimal. So we know the 3 steps that we have to do. It's actually 4 steps, but you'll probably remember the 4th step after the 3rd step. So first step, decimal here. Second step, decimal here. 3rd step, add a 0. 4th step, drop the 0. And you're ready to start solving. How many times can 4 go into 10? Twice. Not 3, because it'll give you 12, and 12 is bigger than 10. So 8 minus 8, 2. And since we already dropped a 0 here, we're going to add another 0. We can do that at no cost. We don't have to change anything. We can just add a 0 and drop it down. And now we have it. How many times can 4 go into 20? 5. 4 times 5 is 20. It's 0. This is your answer. 29 divided by 4. 7.25. Perfect. Alright. So now let's try some bigger numbers. Let's try 4. Or actually we already did 4. Let's try 7. That doesn't look like a 7, but it's a 7. 7 into 99. Okay, so 7 can go into 99, but let's not forget the first number. 7 can go into 9 once. So we minus 7. We get 2. And remember, this isn't the final step, especially when you're dealing with the first numbers. We gotta drop down the next number, which is 9. We always gotta drop down. We always gotta drop it down before we continue the problem solving. So how many times can 7 go into 29? That'll be 4 times. 7 times 4 will be 28. So your answer would be 14 with a remainder of 1. But we don't want that. We want the decimal. We want the calculator answer. So, decimal, 0. We drop it down. 10. How many times can 7 go into 10? Once. 3. We add another 0. And you notice how I'm lining it up, right? Decimal, 1, 0, and 0. This is a 3, sorry. We drop down the 0. How many times can 7 go into 30? That'll be 4. It's 28. That's 2. We add another 0. We drop it down. How many times can 7 go into 20? That'll be twice. 14. 6. Okay, I'm running out of space down there, so we add another 0. How many times can 7 go into 60? That'll be 8. 56. And of course, I'm kind of doing the multiplication a little fast, but you always want to double check your multiplication, because if you mess up your multiplication, you're going to end up, let's say if I got the multiplication here, everything else will be wrong. So you always want to make sure your multiplication is correct. You get a 4, you add a 0, drop it down. How many times can 7 go into 40? That'll be 5. 35. 5. We didn't add another 0, drop it down. How many times can 7 go into 50? That'll be 7. 49. That'll give us a 1. We can add another 0 and we drop it down to 10, but you notice we already came across 10. So this is telling me one second, let me just double check my answer. I kind of lost track a little bit. I'm trying to see if I forgot to add. I said, how many times can 7 go into 60? I said 8. And then how many times? 5. And then 50, how many times? 7. And so from there on, it'll be repeating, because we already encountered 7. So if you divided 99, if you divided 99 by 7, it'll give you 14.142857. Yeah, just keeps repeating, because we already encountered the 10, and so it'll just keep giving us the same pattern. Alright, perfect. Alright, we have time for one more. So let's do it. Let's do 3. How many times can it go into 500? 13. Yeah, 13's fine. Okay. So it might be intimidating, but again, we just take it step by step and we will be able to get to our decimal number. So how many times 3 go into 5? Once, minus 3, 2, and remember we bring it down, 1, and it can go perfectly into 21, 7. Now remember, don't let's not. It might be kind of confusing, not because it went into it perfectly, and now we're kind of confused what to do with the 0. It's the same process. We just bring down the 3, and we ask how many times can 3 go into 3? Once. And coincidentally, it is a whole number that we get here, not a decimal. I didn't plan this, but that's just what it was. 513 divided by 3, it should give us 1, so perfect. Yep. Okay, I just want to do one where it doesn't give you a whole number, just so you can see. Let's do 9, and let's do 642. Alright, we're gonna go a little faster. Okay, 9 times 64, that'll give how many times can it go in there? Seven. 63. 1. We bring the 2 down. How many times can it go in? 1 time. Minus 9. With a remainder of 3. We want the decimal. Remember, 4 steps. 1 decimal, decimal, at the 0, and we drop it down. 30. How many times can 9 go into 30? 3 times. 9, 18, 27. 27, 3, and guess what? We add another 0. We drop it down. 30. And again, it's just repeating. It's repeating. So this would be your answer. 642 divided by 9. And there you go. 0.33. So that's pretty much it. The 4 basic principles is make sure that after, well, it's actually a bunch of principles, but what you got to do is you have to master your multiplication, because if you mess up anywhere where you don't multiply correctly, let's say if I had said that 9 times 7 is 62, we're already on the wrong track. That's why the process is kind of delicate, but if you know your multiplication, you are not going to go wrong. So, and I also could have said that 9 times 6, I could have used 54. I could have said 54, but no, we want the closest number. The closest number to 64, but that doesn't go over it. I can't use 9 times 8, 72, because it's bigger. We need to get the closest one. It's the same thing here. If I had said that 30 minus 27, I mean, yes, if I put 2, 9 times 2, 18, yes, it can go in to 30, but we want the closest number that doesn't exceed, and that's the 3, 27. That's why you gotta master your multiplication. And after that, once you get the multiplication down, and if you have to take a longer process here, that's okay. You can always, if you don't have a calculator, and I recommend you not to use it so you can practice your multiplication by hand. You can always multiply, or if you want to multiply, let's say 10 times 12. You would just multiply this. Sorry, it's because time is running out. But point is, after you get the thing, do the decimal. I'll make a video for multiplication. You add a decimal right in front of the 2, and up there we line it up, add a 0, drop it down. Once you add that 0, you can't use it anymore. You can even cross it out if you want to say, I already used my 0, I need another 0. But in the end, if you don't want to add zeros, you just got to say, well, I'm just going to keep adding 0 every single time I get the number. But I would say it's important to add the 0. Why? Because it reminds you to add whatever you added or whatever you multiplied up here, so you don't get lost. So decimal, add a 0, drop it down. You used it, add another 0, drop it down. So yeah, hope this helped. Peace, guys, and keep it going. You guys got it. All right, peace.